Welcome back to B&G Hockey, where it's always black and gold. Went to the Bruins game last night, had some pretty good seats right behind the net, but unfortunately that means I had a great view of Dan Vladar making 28 saves in a shutout performance over the Boston Bruins. In this video, we're going to look back on that trade and see if it was actually a big mistake by Don Sweeney. If you want my original reaction to this trade, you can go back and watch the video I made on July 28th, but I'll do my best to jog your memory on the day, and I obviously have some new opinions now that we've seen things unfold. July 28th was a crazy day for the Bruins. They signed all kinds of guys like Nosek and Foligno and Haula and Forbort, but the biggest signing of the day was arguably Linus Ullmark. So at the time, you now had Ullmark as your starter, Swayman as your likely backup, which means you were going to send Vladar down to Providence. All is good, that's great depth. The only problem is Vladar would have to clear waivers to get down to the Providence Bruins. And with how young he was and the potential he has, it's very likely that a team would have claimed him. So they end up making a deal with the Calgary Flames. They get a third-round pick in return, which is actually pretty good because he was a third-round pick himself, so those kind of cancel out. And at the time, I had no complaints. Obviously, Swayman's the future. You still have some guys like Kyle Kaiser, and that's still true today. But the only problem is Linus Ullmark has been a little bit shaky, and he's making $5 million. Dan Vladar has been fantastic, and he's making $750,000 for the next 2 years. So whenever you let go of a young player, there's always some risks there that they're going to reach their potential and make you look silly. And so far in a Flame sweater, Vladar has done just that. And we're going to take a look at his stats with the Bruins and how good he's done this season, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the trade 3 months after. Last season, in 5 games with the Bruins, he was 2-2-1 with a goals against average of 3.40 and a save percentage of .886. This year, in the same amount of games with the Calgary Flames, he's 4-0-1 with a goals against average of 1.57 and a save percentage of .946 with 2 shutouts. These are 2 completely different goaltenders, and it's really hard to believe that he's progressed this much in one offseason. Now, the first thing I want to say is Calgary has 7 shutouts already on the season, and I think that's in 19 games, so they're a very good team. They play a great system under Sutter, and that's probably helping Vladar quite a bit. But I will say he is still a very good goaltender, and he's probably somewhere closer to the better end of that in his overall potential as a goaltender in the NHL. And only being 24 years old, you never really know. He could still be getting better and better with each season. Now, the biggest thing that's frustrating as a Bruins fan is, as I said, he's making $750,000, and he paid Ullmark $5 million. So let's say you didn't sign Ullmark, you keep Vladar. Now, both your goaltenders in Swayman and Vladar are making under $1 million, and you can use that money you gave to Ullmark for another top 4 defenseman or a couple more forwards to help your scoring depth. Maybe he's not as good as Ullmark, but the guys you're adding on in front of him make your overall team better, and you're getting the same amount of wins. Another thing that's frustrating is it's looking like Tuukka Rask is coming back, and I'm fine with that, honestly, but I would have much rather went with the 2 kids, see how they do, and then bring Rask back, than have Ullmark and Rask and then send Swayman down to Providence, which is looking more and more likely with each day. So that's definitely frustrating as a Bruins fan, and it's looking like Vladar could really be the one that got away. This has all been a very small sample size, and Vladar will likely come back down to earth, and we have to remember that Ullmark is still a very good goaltender, and has been getting better and better with each start, and I'm not giving up on him just yet. But it's hard to not think back to when we had Vladar and Swayman, and think that the team might be just as good with them as a tandem as they are with Ullmark and Swayman as a tandem, and how much better the roster could have been if you used that $5 million on a defenseman or a forward instead. So leave that down below in the comments. Would you have rather spent that money? Do you miss Vladar? At least we got something for him, so maybe that's a positive. Do you think it's all just the Calgary Flames system, and maybe he wouldn't have been as good here in Boston? Leave all that down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big like, and if you haven't already, subscribe.